Hello and welcome back to Take Refuge 3D, where we're all about companionship. And what better companion than this take on the companion cube from Portal. Now I made this in Plasticity and we'll do a quick tutorial on it. It will be mostly beginners. You can see I've just made a little environment for this. It will be mostly a beginner's tutorial covering mostly basic modeling techniques in Plasticity. So let's get into it and we'll head over to Plasticity. So as this is a beginner's tutorial, what I've done is I found an image online of a companion cube front on, okay, and I've just saved that in a folder and dragged and dropped that into the middle of my screen. So we can just change the name of this, double clicking, and we'll call it companion cube. Now, because this is a beginner's tutorial, if you're already familiar with the Plasticity interface, feel free to move on to the next chapter, but we will just cover the interface or the basics of what you need to know here. Okay, so first of all, you can select an object. So if we've got an object in our scene, you can select an object by clicking on it, okay, ensuring that selection is in body mode or object mode. So you've got these 4 modes. So you've got point mode, which is for points, as you can see on lines, okay. You've got edge mode, which will let you select a whole edge. You've got face mode, which will let you select the face of an object, or you've got object mode or body mode, so you can select a whole object. Okay, now if we click X on that, we can delete it, and we click X on that, we can delete it. Now with these reference images, you can only delete them by selecting them from the hierarchy over there. Okay, so you can also use the numbers on your keyboards, the ones above the letters, by pressing 1, 2, 3 and 4 to go between all of the modes, and you can press 5 to select all at once, so you've got everything selected. You can also do this by clicking a one of them, holding down shift and selecting more, so you can select 2. You can be in face mode and vertex mode at the same time, for example. Okay, I tend to just use the number keys to go between the 4 items though. On the right here, okay, we have some basic options, and if you see a little arrow, you can hold down your left mouse button and there'll be more options within there. So at the moment we're on a spline curve, and we can change that to a control point curve, which is a different type of curve, and the same goes for circles and so forth. You've got corner rectangles or center rectangles, and so forth. Okay, one thing to note is once you've made something, okay, and let's say we wanted to extrude this out, at the bottom right, Plasticity is very handy because it shows you a whole bunch of keyboard shortcuts that you can do while you're in this context mode, in the context of that object. So you can see all of these are for the extrude mode. Now when we pull that out, and then we've got an object, and then we can go and press 4 and select our object, okay, you'll see that there's a couple more there. So for example, a radial array, and then we could make an array of objects around that, and you can do things like that and make funny little shapes. Okay, so what I did there to join all those shapes together when I did my radial array, as I did my radial array, I chose the point where I want the radius, or want the circle of objects to go around. Okay, and then you can hold down shift and choose how many, or you can actually just change that over here as well. Then I pressed Q, okay, which makes a boolean, and as you can see, these red objects are the difference boolean of this object here. If you press Q again, it goes into a union boolean, okay, and then you right click and you've got your object, and you can delete the curve that you used to initially made it. And there's other little tricks that you can do, like you can select one of these and you hold down shift and select another one by one, okay. And other things that you can do that we might not even do in this tutorial is if you hold down Alt Shift, if you hold down Alt and Control, you can select the whole array around the circle, so it selects the next in the line. And then when you pull these, if you go into the negative, you get a chamfer, okay, and if you go into the positive, you get a fillet or a curved bevel of sorts, okay. So that's just some of the basic controls here, okay. So also you can go into different view modes, okay. So if you press 5 on your numpad, okay, over here you'll go into orthographic mode, okay. You can also toggle that up here, so it's numpad 5, but you can toggle that up here. You can toggle the overlays here, okay. A shortcut for that is to hold down Alt, Shift and Z, and you can switch between them, which is what I usually do. And then you can toggle X-ray mode, which you won't be able to see here, but that's also Alt and Z. So you can see as I press Alt and Z, that changes. And this will go into material mode, which we won't really need to worry about in this tutorial. Excuse me, my phone alarm is going off. Okay, so also, if you press the other numbers on the numpad, 1 will bring you into front mode, 3 will bring you into right hand mode, 7 will bring you into top mode, and if you press Control and 1, you'll go into back mode, Control and 3 will take you into left mode, and Control and 7 will bring you into bottom mode, and 5 will bring you back into orthographic mode. Okay, so we will press 1 and we will go into front mode. We're going to take this corner rectangle, okay, and we're going to start bringing it down to the corner here, okay, just roughly playing around. We're not going too crazy on this. And then you can press C on your keyboard, okay, to make it into a square. And you'll know that it's a square because it'll tell you. So at the moment it's saying it's an X and Z, and then if you wiggle around with it a little bit, it will become a square, okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to build up a shape. But what we'll do first is, with all of these are just some of the more commonly used items or the commonly used functions. But if you press F on your keyboard, you will get a list, okay? And we're going to go MEA on that list to type in measure. And we're going to measure this. And this is important. So we've got measurement 1, but I want to do that again. So I've actually set this measure to my quick favorites over here. So if you type in MEA and you right click, you can set a default shortcut. So I can unset the default shortcut, or I could set a default shortcut. And you'll see that pressing control and equals gives you this function as well. So you can also set a shortcut for that if you don't like that one. So I'm going to go here and select my favorite here. And I'm going to bring this measurement out here. And the reason why I want to do that is if I select this and our rectangle, select everything and scale it down. We make this Okay, so we'll need this measurement for later. Okay. But for now, I'm just going to hide it. Okay. So what we're really going to want to do right now is get our shape made. So what we'll do is we'll get a center circle. Okay. And we're just going to make that. And I know it doesn't quite match. Okay. From the center of that. Because this is not exact, but our one will be. So you just want to get that roughly in the right place. And that is in the center of this square that we've already made. Okay. Then we're just going to get a line. Actually, let's go back a step. We want our center circle to actually be a bit bigger and go to this circle here. So you can just bring it to the edge there. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to get a line here and just bring it up to the intersection here. We'll bring it across here and we'll bring it all the way down here. We're going to take that whole thing and we're going to press Alt and X, which is the mirror function. Okay, and we're going to mirror it across there. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to repeat this action. So we're going to select these two here. Okay, and we're going to select our radial array down here. Okay, and we're going to take it to our center. And you can see that that's radial array by 10, but we only want it to be by 4. So we can drag that down to 4. Okay. And now we have our object or our shape for this. Now you can see here that there is actually a little bit of extra shape here. I didn't do this one in the original, but we might as well do it in here. So we'll just bring that across here. Okay, and we want to radial array it again. Okay, from the center. And that should be pretty good. Now, let's hide our companion cube. And we've got this shape here. These curved shape. So what we really want to do now is we want to trim. Now you can press F and type in TRIM and you've got trim, and you can see that as T on your keyboard. So pressing T on your keyboard, we can now start to trim out different parts that we don't need. I don't know how this one is going to go. It's going to be slightly different to the other one that we just made, or the other one that I showed you on screen, but that's fine. So now that we've got this, okay, you can remember that we had our measurement. Okay, so we've got this number here, 263.465. I'll just bring a calculator on off screen. Okay, we want to divide that by 2. Okay, so 263.465. Actually, I'll just bring it on screen. Hopefully you can see the calculator. Okay, divided by 2 equals 131.7325. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take all of these and we want to now move them along the y-axis. Okay, GY by that number that's half of that, so 131.7325. Okay, so we've got that there. And now if we do a radial array around, a radial array around the center, you can see what's happening here. Okay, but before we do that, I just want to have a see how this is gonna look. So I'm just selecting, holding down shift and selecting all of these and pulling them out, and I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll go back, and now we're gonna, because we did half of this measurement here, okay, that means that if we do a radial array of 4 around, it's going to be a perfect square. So I'm going to press 2, and I'm going to select everything, including that one. Okay, actually, do we need that one? The rectangle? No, I don't think that we do. No, we definitely do not. Okay, so let's actually select everything and press J to join it all together. Okay, and then we're going to do a radial array of 4. Okay, if you don't get 4 on your screen, you can change this number here, or you can hold down shift and roll it up until you've got 4. So you can see that those are all joined. Okay, and then we want to go back into front mode. Okay, and do the same again on there. Okay, now we don't actually need to join these together or anything like that. We can keep them all independent, but what we will do is we'll select them all and we'll press Ctrl G and put them into a group, and we'll just call this curves for inset, because that's what we're going to do with them. And we will hide this group, and then we're just going to bring this square out, press C, make it a square. Okay, press the tab key and you can choose how many centimeters you want it to be. So you can press 100 and tab over to the other side and press 100, and then just press enter. Okay, so now you've got, and then right click to confirm, and now we've got a 1 by 1. Okay, now start dragging this up, and then in the distance field over here you can press 50 to make it 50 centimeters. Okay, and then we just want to mirror it on its Z-axis and press Q to make it a union. Okay, and then we can get rid of that square. So now we've got a square that is completely on the axis there. Now if we see our curves here, okay, we want to select all of these and we can scale them right down so it's just a little bit bigger than our object. Okay, maybe even smaller than that. So let's go right in and let's scale that down. Okay, and then if you press F, you can type IMPRI and we go imprint, which is also Shift I. So that's what we're going to do with these curves selected. We're going to press Shift and I and select this body, and at the moment it's set to vector, which we don't want. We want it to be set to normal so that each curve is pointing in the normal direction. Okay, and if we right click to select and then we hide this again, you'll see we're starting to get the shape of our cube. Okay, so that's all good. So I think the easiest way to do this is to select these faces that we have here now. Okay, and we can just bring them in like that. Okay, and as you can see, what we have here is starting to look a lot like the portal cube. Okay, so what shall we do next? Okay, so what we might do next is we might just start to do some fillets. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to start to select these curves. Okay, we can select all of these around here so that you just select one and then shift select, holding down shift and selecting the next in the row. Okay, and then we can either fillet that or chamfer it. This is to taste really at this point. I'm not being exact on my, I think I might use a fillet. Okay, to get some nice highlights later on. Okay, and then what we can do is we can press 4 to go into object mode, do our radial array, go into top mode on 7, and as you can see, that's done quite nicely. Now we've created all of these extra solids, so you press Q and Q again to merge them all together into one object. And then we can do the same thing, go into front mode, radial array around the center. Okay, and you can see up the top we've got that, and Q again, right click to select, and we've got our filleted edges in there. Now if you want to see how these things look in terms of highlights, you can use this Matcap, or you could go and take it into Blender and see how that goes. But I'm going to, so if you want to change the Matcap, you go up to toggle render mode. If you click that, it'll take you into material mode, where you can kind of if you press M, you can change the color and things like that. Okay, outside of material mode, you can select, you can right click on this and select different Matcaps. Some of them will show the material color, some of them will show the silhouettes. Okay, and this is the one that we model in. I do know that it is planned that we'll be able to use custom Matcaps in Plasticity going forward, so that would be great. So now that we have our shape, the next thing that we want to do is we want to do these little love heart on the companion cube. Okay, so that's not too difficult, but it does start to get a little bit difficult when we're wanting to do radial arrays. So what we'll do is we'll build one, and then we'll place it several, we'll rotate it the first time, and then we'll place it several times for the top and bottom ones. So what we'll do now is we'll get a center circle, go into front mode. Okay, let's turn our where's our, we'll turn that back on, and we want to hide our curves. We actually probably can delete these now. Oh, let's just hide that group. So we've got our companion cube back on. We actually want to maybe bring this in front. Okay, but now we can't see that. So actually, while we've got that selected, you can go into material mode, and we can just bring the opacity right down by dragging across here. So we've just got this background here, and we can also scale it so we're in the right spot, kind of. Okay, we can get rid of this old cube that we, okay, so let's get our circle in the center, and we'll just bring it in like that. Okay, and we can hide our image again. Okay, so I'm just Alt Z, I'll go into X-ray mode, and you'll see all this complicated stuff going on in the background. But if you Alt Z again, or toggle X-ray mode off up here, you'll be able to get rid of that. Now going number 3 and going into face mode, keep an eye up here for what mode I'm in. If I don't say it, you'll be able to look up there and see what mode I'm in. Let's just bring this out. Okay, and let's give it a little fillet like that. Okay, so for now we can actually hide our main cube by pressing 4, going into selection mode and selecting that one, and pressing H on our keyboard to hide. Okay, I'm also going to get rid of this curve and just clean up the curves that I don't need as I go. Okay, so let's build a love heart. So I'm going to use a line. Okay, we're going to go down to the bottom. And if you hover over one of these lines and drag your cursor down like that, you'll find that you start to get stuck to, it will kind of gently stick. So you can find the end. So I'm going to find the end here. And I'm just going to bring that up like that. I will press Alt then X and this to mirror that. Okay, and then we'll just get a spline curve. Okay, and you want to bring this out to about here. And then you want to bring it out to about here. And then you can bring it into the center like that. Okay, don't worry about how it looks right now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to press 2. We're going to select all of these. And we're going to join them together. Then we're going to go 1 into vertex mode. And we're going to select these and press O to offset them. Or we could even press B to bevel them. Let's press O to offset them. Okay. And then I want to press T and just trim out these sides here. I'm going to press F on here and I'm going to type in bridge curve. And I am just going to bridge these two like that. Okay. Then what we can do again is we can mirror that onto the other side. And then we can select all of our curves again and join it together. Okay. Then I'm going to drag this. I'm going to press G and G again and hold down Control. And that will bring it to the center. We'll press 1 on this again. And we'll just bevel this part ever so slightly. Okay. This is not the best looking love heart, but I'm not going to go around and make it over and over again. Because this is a tutorial. If you want to spend a little bit more time on making your love heart nice, we could go into 1 and we could you know, move things around to see how it looks, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Okay, we'll press 2 and we'll draw this out by G and just pulling it on the Y axis, and then we'll do Shift I again to imprint it onto that, remembering to change to normal just in case it goes a bit funny. Okay, so what we're going to do now, and this is probably the only surfacing, the only advanced aspect that we will do today. Okay, and if you want to skip out on this bit and you find out it's a little bit difficult, you can just pull this in and you can bevel your edges or whatever. Okay, but we'll do something a little bit more fancy. Okay, press with your face selected, press Alt and F. Oh, sorry, Shift and X. Okay, and you might be able to see that we've deleted. We've actually deleted our object, our face. Okay. Then if you hold Shift and Alt on that line, you can select the whole curve and you can press Shift D. Okay. And you can actually bring that in and just press S and S to scale. Okay. And then on this, we're going to select that whole curve again. Okay. And there's 2 things we could do. Okay. Press Alt Z to go into X-ray mode so you can select the one behind, select that curve, and we could loft it like that. Actually, that's fine to make a little face. Okay. Or something else you could do instead of lofting is you could bring a line between the two. Let's just, to make this a little bit more simple, we'll go into 4 and we will hide this as well. Okay, so we've got our smaller heart and our larger heart, and we can just bring a line from this curve to this curve. Now with that line selected, Okay, so we've got that from that point to that point. Press Shift and S, and we've subdivided our curve. And then you can select the middle vertex and just bring that up like that. And we've got a funny little curve there. Okay. And then we can do the same over here. See if you can find the one that says mid. Okay. And then you can bring that one from there to there. And find the other one on this side that says mid, which is this one. Okay. And once again, Shift and the letter S. Okay. Press 1 to go into vertex mode. Drag and select that vertex only. Okay. And there you have it. Okay. So then what we want to do is we want to select these two and loft them together like we did before. Okay. But now if we hold Shift and hover over this, it will actually mold it to that curve, and we can do the same up here. Okay, now if we wanted to do that for a few of the others, we can as well. So going back into 1 in vertex mode, I might just do that for a couple. I might do this for this one. Okay, Shift and S, and let's just bring this out. Okay, and then I'll go into 2. And we'll just mirror this to the other side. And if we go into 1, we can see those green dots. That means it's connected if it's got green dots. So for example, if I take this one here, it's not green anymore, that's purple and that's white. So now they're connected on that. So that is one thing that you can do. Okay, so let's loft these together and then use our points just to give a little bit of extra shape and a little bit of complexness, we'll call it, to that. Now what we can do is we can just go and hide our curves, and we've got our shape. If we unhide everything, just like hide our curves again, hide these curves. You press Alt H to unhide everything, by the way. So now you can see that we've still got a gap in there. Okay, so I'm going to press Alt and F. So we're on G0. So what we want to do is we want to select that whole loop there. Actually, let's just hide this again so we can see what's going on. You can see that's still not a fully object, and you can see that it's actually listed as a these are both sheets. So what we want to do first of all is join these together. So there's let's get rid of this. You can press J with both of them selected, and it should join them together. If that doesn't work for you, press Q and Q. But the Q and Q. So sometimes one works and sometimes the other works. Now with this hole here, we just want to press Alt F. Okay. Or you can go down here and see this icon here. It says patch holes along edges or create a patch from curves. So you can click that and that'll do the same thing. Right click to select it. Okay, and now that we've got that done, you can see that we've got our nice little curvy shapes in there, and it's indented and it's done that along the way. So we just do a little bevel up there, a little fillet here, and a little fillet there. Okay, so now if we go back and get our other solid here, now I think that might be a bit big, so I might, for my taste, so I might scale that down. Okay, and then once again we can do a radial array from the top, pressing 7. Okay, we've got it set to 4, so that should be all good. Okay, And now for the top, if we do a radial array, you'll see what happens. If we go to 3 and we do this from the front, you'll start to see that it's overlapping like that. And if we scroll down to just 2, it's not on the top, but it's over there. So we don't actually want to do that. So what we want to do is we want to actually duplicate this by pressing Shift D and bringing that out like that. Now, one cool feature of Plasticity is that you can basically kit bash things quite easily. Kit bashing means getting different 3D objects and smashing them together until you get a new object. So what we can do is we press Shift D to duplicate before. Now if we press Control D, it comes up with this thing. So we make sure that we're in object mode here, over here with the object selected, and press Control D, and then we choose where we want the pivot point to be for our duplicated object. So I'm going to choose the center of the base of this, and then where we want to put it, we can put it here on the face. Press F if it's inverted to flip it up like that. Okay, and then when we select it, it'll give us an opportunity to do it again. So we'll take it down to the bottom. Okay, and we'll just do that. And then once you've done that, you can left click to select and escape. And now we've got that over there. We can delete these two. And if you don't like the positioning of them, like I think I would like that to be rotate Z 90 degrees. I want that to be going along with that one. And this one, rotate Z 90 degrees. And then that feels like it's conforming to the shapes there. Now, we've got a bunch of solids. So what we can do now is we can join all of these together. So just select your main object, drag and select everything, making sure you don't have any other curves or sheets, and it's just these that are selected. And you can press Q to union, or Q and Q again to union, right click to select, and that didn't work. So we can try that one by one. So what I think might be happening is that they're not actually touching. So let's just hide this one. Okay, so those ones on the top did, and we can just select these faces on the back and just bring them in a bit. And then let's get this guy back up. Press 4, Q, and Q again, and it looks like they're all molded into the one object now. What we can do now is we can start to do with the flourishing of the object. Okay, so first of all, as you can see, or as you might be able to see now, okay, there are some beveled edges and whatnot. This is not actually the, this is the one I made. This is the actual companion cubes. And you can see it's got those flourishes and things like that. So let's work on those. Okay, we're going to have to be a little bit clever here. Okay, so we've already done these fillets in here, which is not really how it is on the original one, but I think it looks cool. Our love heart doesn't look like that great in this option. But what you will notice is that there's these sort of electricity lines. And you'll notice that the original companion cube didn't have an indented heart. I'm just doing my own little take on it. So let's get these little pipes in here. Okay, so what we may wish to do is this not... Okay. Okay, so what we may wish to do, go into front mode. Okay, and let's just select a line, find the midpoint, and just pull it up on the Z axis, making sure that that's a 90 degrees. And if we Alt X, you can flip that. Oh, if we Alt X, we should be able to flip that down there. So we got. right click to select. Okay, and then do the same again on this side, and the same again over there. Okay, now we can select these 4. Okay, and a lot of ways you can do this. Like I said, this is a basic tutorial, so we're going to use a pipe. Okay, in this case it's coming in as 1 centimeter for the section size down here. Okay, so you can actually just pull that out and make it bigger. Okay, and now that we've got that done like that, what we're going to do this time, you guessed it, we're going to bring it around on the center. Okay, and then we're going to select 4 from the right side or the left side, whatever you want to do, and make sure that your main object's not selected. If you want to deselect an object, like you accidentally select an object, you can hold down Control and click that object, and then we're just going to pull that one around the center like that, and then we're going to QQ anything that is joined like overlapping. Okay, so what we can do now, actually I just want to test. What we should have done, let's just take it a step back, is actually pulled these in a little bit to start with. Okay, deselecting the main object and just pulling these in a bit, and we can get rid of these curves. Okay, now let's do our radial array. So as you can see, sometimes if you don't know what's going on, you just need to troubleshoot the problem. Okay, and we're doing that in this tutorial a little bit, making mistakes and fixing them as we go, and that's really a lot of what 3D modeling is all about. So now let's select this main object. You can just drag over, press Q once and right click, and these pipe areas have been removed. Okay, so looking at this, we want to get some of these hard chamfers in there. So really what we're going to do first is get these corner ones in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a corner rectangle, and I'm just going to choose this corner, and I'm just going to bring it out like that, and I'm going to bring it up like, actually we'll make it a bit bigger than that. So bring it all the way to the center here. Actually, press C and bring it all the way to the center. So now we've got that, and then we can just, in face mode, bring this up, press 2, get rid of our cube, select our whole object, rotate it by pressing R, X, 45, minus, okay, right click to select, and then rotate Z, 45, minus, and you've got that there. You might not need to press minus depending on which corner you started on. Okay, it's just because I started on the back right now. Now what you can see here is that's only slightly coming into this. So go into face mode and hold down shift and press space. Okay, and you'll create a temporary construction plane. Okay, and what you can see here is if we select this, if we select the whole object, we can actually G and drag it down on this new axis that has been created. Okay, and then you can just X up here to get rid of your temporary construction plane, or if you want to keep it, you can double click it, but we don't need to keep it in this instance. Okay, so now we can see that that's taking out a bigger chunk over there. So let's just mirror this on its all axes. Okay. And then we can select this, select all of these. And you can see that we've taken those triangles off the corners. Okay. Now, this is just where it gets a little bit boring, but we want to start selecting all of these edges so we can chamfer them. Okay. Like, try not to miss any. What we're getting is all of the edges that are facing out. So you can use your reference image to find out which ones you need to select. But basically I will be selecting not the ones going inside to this inside area, but the ones that are pointing out away from the object, the corners basically. So you're always going to miss one and have to try again. So actually it looks like, no, I did miss this one, and I probably missed this one as well. Okay, so we got them all, and now it's just really a case of eyeballing it. I think that's pretty good. Okay, and really that's about it. So what I might do is might open up Blender and take it through on the Blender bridge. Okay. So what you might see in a moment is Blender opening up. So if you haven't got the Blender bridge installed, I have done a tutorial on that, so you can check that one out, how that works. But what we're basically going to do is we're going to refresh our object. Okay, and now that we're in Blender and you've got your Matcap set up properly, we can have a bit of a better squiz at it and see how it looks. I think that one looks not too bad. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching. I hope you learned something today. And I might show you how I did the material on the other one. I might show you how I did the material on the other one in another tutorial, because that's another sort of a Blender bridge tutorial. But this looks pretty good in my opinion. Hit the like button and subscribe if you got something out of today's tutorial. And I'll see you in the next one. Happy New Year's if you're watching at the time that I upload this, or any subsequent year at the time that I uploaded this. Alright, thanks a lot. Bye bye. Tschüss.